Welcome to the APB recap. The next episode is coming on my stream channel, link down below, but before we get to that, let's recap what happened last week. So here I have a scrub quote, and it is absolutely hilarious. As dumb as this may sound, fighting games suffer from the fact that they are a video game. So you want to square up in real life? You want to square up in real life, man? You want to fight in real life? Let's go! Let's fight!
I'm coming to kill you!
The ring.
No, in real life!
That sounds dumb as hell, I know, but hear me out. Yes, it was. It was so outrageous that I'm willing to listen to how someone can have a take this bad. Animations are the biggest hindrance of fighting games. Wait, what? How can they be a hindrance? Character animations tend to take way too long, which gives your opponents the advantage. Then don't use heavy moves. Use moves that are quick. You absolute dummy. If I'm knocked on my ass, the animation of my character getting up is so slow that it's actually a direct advantage for my opponent because they can take advantage of the situation and attack me while I'm in my animation. Bro, that's called an okizeme. Maybe next time, don't get knocked down and get beaten up. This is you right now. Also, by your logic, your opponent also have the same disadvantages as you. Both of you are disadvantaged by character animations. You're not just using the right moves. In other words, you're a scrub. Get good, scrub. And all of this paragraph just to complain about multiverses. Not even like an actually competitive fighting game. Multiverses of all games. It's like complaining at how everyone is shooting at you and have some brutal accuracy in Roblox. So remember last week when I talked about how Warner Bros. And HBO are canceling a lot of cartoons and TV shows and movies? Well, it turns out that the cancellation happened in public before they even informed the people who are responsible with the actual shows. Not only that, but they're also getting lots and lots of backlash for laying off POC employees who are developing these diverse shows. The backlash is well deserved. I mean, I know that there are non-people of color that were affected by this event, but it's a big corporation. They virtue signal to these people a lot. They're the ones that invite the backlash. Even more hooplas in Warner Bros. Is when the upcoming Batgirl movie, which was cancelled, had the entire footage deleted from the servers. It's a shame because now we cannot see how good or bad the film is. This entire thing is getting so out of hand, even the social media manager retweeted the pirated versions of the books of Infinite Train. They also liked memes endorsing piracy and tweeted a final message basically saying, "Screw this. I'm out of here." Big corporations will make sure that you don't own the things that you bought. Movies, TV shows, all of these things, they're not really yours. And they're losing $20 billion in value, trying to cut $3 billion in costs. And apparently, Amazon insiders said that its $1 billion Lord of the Rings series will determine the company's streaming future. So apparently, if the series fails, the company's streaming future will fail as well. There are lots and lots of people saying that you shouldn't hate watch this stuff. I mean, I've seen clips of this show and they're not very good at all. But the thing is, people hate watch a bunch of stuff before, and that doesn't affect things being, tanked. I mean, I'm not watching the live action Resident Evil stuff. I got many other stuff to do that are more riveting. But there are a bunch of people who did and made lots and lots of funny videos about it. They still tanked. The absolute least you can do is to not give money to big corporations like Amazon and Warner Bros. And sail the freaking seas. Seriously. Sail the seas, guys.
Yar, favorite indeed. Being a pirate is a wretched thing. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Clip Studio Paint joins the dark side of softwares that decide to use a freaking subscription-based model because of course they did. Of course they freaking did. They used to be a viable alternative to Photoshop, but now they're joining the dark side with many other softwares that use crappy subscription-based models. I mean, just look at this. Look at this freaking chart. Bruh. It's not a good sign if you provide a freaking chart for your pricing model. A lot of video games use charts for their business models as well. Usually those games are the most predatory ones, like Sonic Origins. This business model is so bad that they need to clarify this to the audiences. So let me explain this really complicating chart. The idea is you got the old way and also the new way. The old way is if you buy one version of Clip Studio Paint version 1, 2, or 3, you buy one version with a perpetual license. You get bug fixes and everything like that, but you cannot have the other versions. You need to buy the other versions. That's the old school way. Clip Studio Paint introduces the new way, which is the Adobe way, which lets you to have a subscription-based model or the update pass that allows you to get all the versions with a monthly subscription. So what Clip Studio Paint does here is that it keeps the old way of software purchasing, as in a one-time perpetual license, but introduces the new way of buying software for future versions beyond the ones that you purchased, as in a monthly subscription. So they're not replacing the old business models, they're adding a new business model, the one that their competitor Adobe uses. The one business model that made people to quit using Adobe in the first place. Whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you. Personally, I don't like software as a service business model, even if you introduce it alongside the old model. But unfortunately, Adobe is dominating the market and the creative industry with its software. So it's no surprise that Clip Studio Paint has to join in the party as well in order to be competitive in the market. Clip Studio Paint is actually a pretty good software, so if this software is the one that you're comfortable with, at least you can stick to the new version that you bought and then you can buy the brand new version if you like. That or learn how to use other alternative softwares like Krita, which took a jab on Clip Studio Paint, and that's the software that I use for drawing alongside GIMP. Seriously, try them. They're great. Speaking of softwares, Vegas Pro has been my go-to video editor. I mean, it's not the most feature-rich video editor. DaVinci Resolve have more features in it, and it's free, but I'm a lot more familiar with it. I'm much faster in it, so I'm sticking to what works for me. But with that said, Vegas Pro has been kind of crap as of late. Every single time I installed the software, I had to watch a tutorial video on YouTube to make sure that the software doesn't crash. And thankfully, I haven't had any crash issues since, but it could also be because I'm using a pirated copy rather than a legit copy, because most people have issues with the legit copy. I mean, I have the legit copies on Steam, but apparently if you're using the legit copies on Steam, MAGIX won't let you. Yes, Sony used to own Vegas Pro, but now MAGIX owns it, and they're not letting you to use Vegas Pro anymore because they're revoking the license for the software from the users. That's right, they can revoke the license to use the software from you anytime they like. I still stick to Vegas Pro because I'm more familiar with the interface and I work much faster in it, but I haven't been paying the money because of crap like this. That and the Steam version doesn't let you to open 2 instances of Vegas Pro, which is kind of crap. It's really funny that gaming culture from places to places are radically different. In the West, the console market is still popular. It's so popular that Sony decides to just brush off the Japanese market and focus on the international ones, to the point that Xbox is actually slowly gaining popularity in Japan. That's right, Xbox of all consoles, the ones that give you always online DRMs that will let you to play games unless it's online. Gaming in the Asian market is radically different compared to the West. I mean, among the Zoomers here, there are 3 games that always pop up: Valorant, Genshin, and Roblox, all of which are playable on the PC. None of these guys play any of the games on the consoles. And that's understandable because consoles are quite expensive and they can only be used to play games. PCs, on the other hand, can play games and also do schoolworks and browse the net, something that the Zoomers like to do these days. So it baffles me in why Sony would just raise their console prices for all sorts of regions, including Japan. So now you're making your console even less accessible to the country where it originally came from. That's one treacherously shameful display.
Shameful display! A shameful display!
The Asian market are slowly losing interest with gaming consoles. So your plan is to raise the prices there.
Come on, what could possibly go wrong?
Fighting the culture war is fine and all. I mean, I do that all the time, but we're all human beings, and sometimes some of us can make some stupid takes. So there's this meme that explains why video games then are better than video games now. There are several factors to that actually, and I can probably list them through an entire paragraph. The focus on monetization over quality, the abundance of content being cut only to be sold again, the overly simplified and casualized gameplay, always online DRMs, the overprotection of intellectual properties, the absolute disdain towards consumer ownership, the lack of innovation towards new installments, the abundance of gambling predatory business models, the censorship and localization issues. I can honestly go on, but wait a minute. I'm talking as a gamer. If you're speaking as a culture warrior, you'd probably make a meme like this. Game devs then have a 4.0 GPA and are passionate about video games. Game devs now are filled with fat communists, trans people, and people who have a GPA of 0.5. I'm not sure why the meme makes the person with the 0.5 GPA to be black. I'm sensing an implication here. Racist! And then after all that, there's a crude drawing of the Reddit mascot going, I can't quite figure out why games are shit now. Must be the microtransactions. Yes, actually. In fact, that's an even more impactful reason why gaming these days is bad, alongside many other bad things. Yes, some of the bad things in games can be done by the people among the game devs now category, but that doesn't mean that it always comes from there, because even the people among the game devs then category can do some really bad stuff. In fact, a lot of the smart people in gaming are making games to be more profitable rather than, fun. Point is, this meme is speaking from one side of the culture warriors in why gaming is bad. You can believe whichever you like, but personally, I don't agree with this meme. I think there are several issues that are more significant than the people shown in the meme. But then another culture warrior from another side came in and chimed in their take on the situation. It brings me so much joy to know that you feel like all of your favorite hobbies are being stripped away from you. You will never get what you think you had back, and that is hilarious. No, actually, I still have the things that I had back. They still exist. I can still play them and enjoy them just fine. I generally only mildly pay attention to new stuff, and the last game that I played that's actually new was Stray. That was a good game, if a bit too short. Most people have really tinted glasses and only see things through either blind nostalgia or blind trend chasing. I, on the other hand, decides to be daring and appreciate things and acknowledge the benefits and flaws of each. The past has some moments, but it's not perfect. Same as the present. There's stuff that I like that are new, and there's stuff that I like that are old. There's stuff that I don't like that are new, and there's stuff that I don't like that are old. But hey, maybe it's just me living in the real world and having the perspective of someone who is not terminally online and fighting people left and right. Maybe if I'm more connected to the online world and get myself deeper and deeper, I might think differently and submit to what everyone else is saying rather than what I truly feel. The world of fantasy has led us to do all sorts of things, ranging from amazing stuff to even downright horrific stuff. Game of Thrones has shown that in Fantasyland, you can do a lot more stuff than just stabbing people in the medieval times. You can also see lots and lots of women's tits. For the right price, of course. Unless you're good at women, which most of you aren't. The recent prequel for the series came in with a genuine surprise from most people who felt that the last season of the series ends about as well as Emilia Clarke's leftover Starbucks cup. I don't really know. I never seen it. I watched a couple of episodes of season 1 and apparently it got dumber since season 6 or 7 and I still don't understand why the 11th Doctor is there. Anyway, what's relevant here is that apparently the treatment of women during the time period is concerning, and according to this person, because it's made up, it should be better. So, hold on a second there. It's okay if your fantasy world contains all the bad elements of a fantasy world, but it's not okay if women are the targets. If you're writing fantasy with dragon and misogyny, then you enjoy dragons and misogyny. Realism is an excuse. Yeah, well, there's a reason why it's called fantasy and not, reality. This is something that most people are able to distinguish. There are very few people who can't. The ones who can't have much bigger issues, and you certainly need to focus on them rather than, a fictional show. If I had the ability to create a fantasy world for a mass audience, I would simply not make sexual violence part of it, because for most of us, that is a fantasy world. I do not understand why they do this. It's fiction, and it sells. If you don't find the fictional stuff comfortable to watch, maybe you shouldn't watch it.
Simple. You just get up and change the channel.
Because their fantasy is the ability to hurt women without even potential repercussions deterring them. Their fantasy is a world where we are literally powerless to stop men from doing anything they want to us. You do realize that you can also make a fantasy world that goes the opposite route, right? You do realize that it's called fantasy for a reason, as in not reality. If people do the stuff they see in fantasy in reality, that's not the fault of the fantasy, that's the fault of the person. These people cannot distinct between fiction and reality, and I'm more concerned about them rather than the actual show. And I don't even like this show. And that's all for the recap today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been super busy, so this is the only time that I can publish this. The next APB show episode is coming on my stream channel, link down below, so go subscribe and stay tuned. Before we end this video, thank you so much for all of you donators and supporters. If you want to be part of this list of these awesome people, you can donate to us by checking the links down below. $1 is all you need to get your name there. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.